Hi, I'm Tracy Townsend, and I'll be bringing you through the stories from around Columbus. The missing Indiana girl who was found dead in Ohio was laid to rest this week. Authorities found the remains of 17-year-old Haley Busby in Wayne National Forest. We'll tell you about the latest around the Columbus man who is now facing federal charges in connection to her disappearance. An assistant professor at Ohio State is now on leave after video captured him allegedly assaulting a cameraman. You'll hear from the filmmaker about the interaction. And this Valentine's Day, love is in the air, and so are the scams. The BBB has a warning about how scammers and how they are trying to get you to fall for them. Let's dive into these stories making headlines around Central Ohio.
Cameras are not allowed in federal court, but this is a sketch of Thomas during his appearance. His hair was disheveled, and he only spoke a few times when was asked direct questions. He sat back in his chair and showed no emotion during the 5-minute-long hearing. Defense attorney Sam Szymanski waived the preliminary and detention hearing.
I don't believe, given the information set forth in the affidavit and the fact that we have this tragic loss of life, that there are going to be any set of circumstances in the magistrate's mind that would result in release. And moreover, if that were to occur, that would accelerate it's just an exercise in futility. So given the nature of this case, that's the most prudent path from our perspective.
The federal criminal complaint outlines the timeline about when Thomas went to Indiana to pick up Busby, bring her back to Columbus, and to Logan. The complaint also states that Thomas had been to Busby's hometown before. The complaint details pictures Thomas took of Busby in the house in Victorian Village and at the Airbnb in Logan. The complaint explains Thomas had been talking online with other underage girls. Most of the interaction is too graphic to report. For one instance, the document showed Thomas asked a girl who claimed to be in the 10th grade if she would like to hurt herself during a sexual encounter and that she looked so good covered in red. Thomas has not been charged with Busby's death.
So now, do you anticipate any murder charges that may be federal or still come from Hocking County?
I cannot make that call. That's now, I believe it's fair to say, it's always been within the purview of the federal government to charge as they see fit. And now that they've taken this first very substantial step and laid out the information that they've set forth in this affidavit, I don't think it's much of a leap to suggest that they're considering jurisdiction over that aspect of the case, but that's going to be up to these very capable U.S. attorneys to decide.
I was punched. It was like an open hand punch. It was this whole side right here.
Michael Newman is talking about this interaction caught on his camera in the hallway of Smith Lab on the campus of Ohio State. He and another independent journalist are trying to ask former OSU President Gordon Gee a question when Assistant Professor Luke Perez steps in.
Just one more.
No.
Oh, whoa.
Newman's camera stops as he hits the ground.
It was instantaneous. I was like, what the heck is going on? It was the most bizarre thing I've ever encountered. It was surreal. It happened so fast. The only thing on my mind was to protect my camera.
Newman called the incident an attack on his civil rights.
As bad as the physical assault was, the assault on my First Amendment rights is just as bad.
After the incident, Newman continues to roll when Gee leaves the room.
Do you condone that, Mr. Gee?
You know, gentlemen, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore because you're incorrigible.
Newman said he believes if he was the aggressor that day, he wouldn't be sitting here now.
Oh, I would have been in jail that night. Oh, without a doubt.
As for a message he wants to send to the now suspended professor, Newman didn't mince his words.
Mr. Perez, you are a coward, and you deserve everything that's coming your way. You stood over top of me like you were tough. You're a coward.
Since 2019, the city of Marion has had 3 city auditors, and the last 2 have resigned. We came to Marion to understand what happened and to understand their plan to get the city back on track. The city of Marion is currently $8 million in the red. And if you ask the mayor, the problem is connected to overspending and accounting issues.
We haven't had a complete audit since 2020, and the books haven't been reconciled since 2019.
And he says that problem can be traced to the city auditor's office. So 10 Investigates tracked down the two most recent city auditors who both resigned, citing stress from the job. They told us critical information about the city's auditing software wasn't passed along when they took the job.
How do you work with this? How do you balance? So you just do the best you can.
Robert Landon served as auditor from 2020 to 2021, and he says he wasn't told that certain data would be deleted from city servers after 90 days.
How do you expect somebody to reconcile something that is pretty much unreconcilable?
Miranda McGinnis was Landon's replacement, and she served until January of this year. She says the system itself was more than the city could handle.
New World itself is not a bad system. New World is actually very, very, very comprehensive for the city that we have.
Is that something you've heard? Is there any truth to that from
No,
your vantage point?
absolutely. That we are working right now.
And Mayor Bill Collins says he's aware.
And there has been an issue with New World software since they put it in, back in 2008 or whatever.
All three agree that it will take time, the right leadership, and likely new software to get things where they need to be. And to make sure they do, the state auditor's office is now involved. They recently issued the city a financial warning, and they rejected Marion's proposed plan to balance the books because it would have taken decades to complete.
They want us to be much more aggressive with that, but then again won't say how aggressive.
And the mayor tells 10 TV the state has given them 60 days to present a new plan. In Marion, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
Those who knew and loved Haley Busby, walking one by one, each laying a flower in her honor.
Moments like this are sobering because they remind us of how fragile life is and how brief it is, no matter how long we get to live on this earth.
Thursday night's focus, not about how Haley left this world, but rather a celebration of how she lived.
She had an infectious smile that just enhanced her bubbly and bright personality.
Haley's uncle, Mark Miranda, sharing personal memories from throughout her life.
In her early years, she was playful, full of joy, and twirling and dancing in her grandparents' living room. She always had curly pigtails and to match with dimples that she never lost.
Miranda says Haley was close with her family, enjoying movie nights and Taco Bell runs with her cousins, and never missed a night tucking in her little sister Sabria before bed.
She never made Sabria feel anything less than the most important person to her.
Miranda says Haley worked as a server at a restaurant and hoped to one day become a journalist. But it was her heart that Miranda says they'll remember most.
Most importantly, her friends say they'd felt seen when they were with her. And sometimes where friendships are concerned, that's everything.
Pastor Chris Cole reading a letter on behalf of Haley's father, Bo.
I want you to know how incredibly grateful I am for the time we had together on this earth. I still consider myself the luckiest dad ever. And sweetheart, we are at peace knowing that you know just how much you continue to be loved.
Ending his note to his daughter with a message from the heart.
But I want you to know this wasn't your fault. And today I'm here to show you that you were never alone and you never will be.
Franklin County Municipal Court behind me has a long-standing rule that allows all law enforcement, including ICE agents, to make arrests inside the courthouse. But now activists are encouraging people to write letters to the judges here to change that. On February 4th, this man arrived at the Franklin County Municipal Courthouse for an OVI hearing. In this video shared with us by the court, he leaves the hearing. Then at the elevators, ICE agents quickly take him into custody.
We do advise them that there is a possibility of ICE enforcement.
Immigration attorney David Dawson is at the courthouse with clients weekly. He says it's not just people charged with crimes afraid to go inside.
People who have been the victims of crimes are really hesitant to report those crimes to the police, are really hesitant to appear in court to identify the offenders and really help prosecutors bring justice to people.
Activists tell 10 TV they've sent nearly 10,000 letters to the judges calling for a similar policy to next door Common Pleas Court, which does not allow ICE to make arrests inside. The municipal court judges have released a joint statement which says in part the court continues to examine all relevant legal authorities and considerations to ensure that any decisions made are consistent with the law and serve the best interests of public safety and administration of justice. Last June, ICE arrested Leonardo Fausto, a Brazilian asylum seeker, as he was in court for a speeding ticket. He remains in ICE custody in Michigan. His attorney says he does not have a criminal record.
What can we do to...
Dawson says many of his clients are asking to avoid court altogether.
There's a different way to resolve my case without me having to be at the courthouse, which is a real shame.
I asked a spokesperson for the courts when the judges will meet next to discuss these rules, but she could not say. Reporting in Columbus, Carla Rogner, 10 TV News.
When it comes to this burnt-out eyesore next door, it's safe to say
all they had to do was carry it about 10 feet.
That Mark Musel is fed up. How long has this been here? He tells 10 Investigates his final straw was this trash pile left behind after a fire in late January.
They sent out a crew last Thursday, and when I asked them if they was clean this up, they said they couldn't do it because it was too cold. And I mean, you know, just kicking it, I mean, that seems like if you had a shovel, you could take care of it.
And he told us he thinks his South Linden address is fueling that response.
In nicer neighborhoods like Bexley or Worthington, I don't think the city would have left it there in the first place.
We took those concerns directly to the city's Department of Building and Zoning Services. What is your response to that?
It is not one area or another. We will, we work as fast as, in this case, the courts will allow us.
They told us the owner of the house is dead, and technically any cleanup would fall on the mortgage holder. But after our interview, we went back out to the home and found this. City crews were sent out to clean up some of that debris, but the rest of the trash was too frozen to remove. The city says they're hoping to get the rest of it out next week when it warms up. In the meantime, the city attorney's office confirmed to 10 TV on Tuesday that this house will be put up for auction, and anyone who buys it will be required to get it up to code. In Columbus, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
It's the season of love, and as people are looking for romance, the Better Business Bureau warns scammers are taking advantage. In 2025, 12 people in Central Ohio fell victim to romance scams, losing more than $480,000 combined. That's according to the Better Business Bureau, which says scammers ramp up around Valentine's Day, targeting people going through breakups, those on dating apps, and seniors. BBB President Judy Dollison says many of these scammers operate from overseas, and they often profess their love quickly to build trust. She says they may make plans to visit, only to cancel at the last minute and ask for money, claiming a family emergency. The latest version of the scam involves cryptocurrency.
Instead of wanting to meet up with you, they tell you that they have this great investment opportunity and that they've made a lot of money from it. And because they love you, they want you to have this opportunity as well. So they set you up with a crypto investment platform. You start investing money into it. You even see the funds growing. And then when it comes time that you try to take some of the funds out, there's nothing there.
If you or anyone you know becomes a victim of a romance scam, the Better Business Bureau asks that you report it so they can keep track of scams like this and report it to the social media app as well. Reporting in Columbus, Carla Rogner, 10 TV News.
The YMCA of Central Ohio announced that in a few months, the Jerry L. Garver branch will be closing to make way for housing.
It's really sad. Like, I've been coming here for probably like the past 4 years consistently, but I grew up here.
So it's really sad to see that this place is leaving.
The YMCA announced last week that as it prepares for the future, the nonprofit will close this Southeast Columbus branch on May 30th. A release from the Y says the comprehensive evaluation determined that the center can no longer be sustainably operated to meet long-term community needs due to ongoing facility limitations, declining usage, and operational challenges, making it increasingly difficult to deliver the programs, services, and member experience the community deserves.
It's really the only place that we have that we can help keep our children off the street and get them in recreational programming. We can provide programming that suits our seniors.
Mark Harper, vice chair of the Greater Southeast Area Commission, says the news came as a shock.
For us, the YMCA is the only recreational facility that's in our entire area commission.
The one thing I love about that Y is it's about 8 minutes from our house.
Jamie Hutchinson says her 14-year-old son was devastated when he heard the news.
He was pretty upset. He loves to play basketball. He loves to work out. And I hate taking that away from him.
The release from the Y says it has agreed to sell the property to the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority. We reached out to the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority about their plans for the site. A representative said the YMCA still owns the property and will be operating it into May, so it's too early to discuss plans. In Columbus, Catherine Simon, 10 TV News. Love is Blind has shot in major cities like Denver, Atlanta, and Chicago. But now it's Columbus's turn. This city will be the backdrop as people look for love. And people here hope it means viewers fall in love with our growing city. All eyes are on Columbus for season 10 of Love is Blind, and locals are tuning in.
I have to definitely tune in. I think it's pretty cool, and maybe we'll see some places that we recognize and know.
But it's not just Central Ohioans falling for the show.
I think it's awesome. It'd be cool to get more eyes on the city, and I think it's a beautiful place.
This season features singles from across Ohio, and Columbus plays a starring role, featuring Ohio State University, the zoo, and many local businesses.
This is going to have a huge impact both from an economic perspective and just the brand awareness of Columbus.
Experience Columbus has set up photo ops, more than happy to roll out the red carpet and welcome the show to Columbus.
To be able to have Columbus's skyline, Columbus's local businesses represented at this global level, it is something that is just a huge opportunity for the region.
So, is Columbus the perfect place to fall in love? You'll have to watch to find out. But locals hope the world gets to see what they love about the city.
We have a great food scene, great music scene.
A good networking city, and I'm loving that it's bringing more highlight to the city.
Hopefully they represent Columbus well.
Yeah.
Leading us off at 8:10, Mr. Kevin Hall.
It's possible you've never heard Kevin Hall's name.
Kevin, you have the tee. Good luck today.
And since the age of 2, neither has he.
It can't be easy for him being a profoundly deaf person.
You heard that right. As his mom translates his story, Hall has been deaf since the age of 2. The medicine used to treat his meningitis saved his life, but stole his hearing.
I have a double whammy.
I have a double whammy here. I'm black and deaf. Playing golf. That will always be my identity.
Hall accepts that identity, but has never let challenges derail his ambitions. From tiny St. Rita's School for the Deaf in Cincinnati to giant Ohio State, Hall broke barriers, and not just for the hearing impaired. He became the first black golfer ever to play at OSU. And by his senior year, his game was doing all the talking, and everybody was listening. Individual Big Ten champion on a 2004 conference title team, and soon he'd be on his way to the Advocates Professional Golf Association, the APGA, a tour that provides competitive opportunities for underrepresented golfers. Last summer, Hall won a silver medal in the Tokyo Deaf Olympics, calling it the opportunity of a lifetime.
All I know is it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Hall readily admits golf has given him everything, so now he spends time giving back to those who will come next.
I go hang out with kids. They ask me advice. They want to play with me. They want to learn. So I give them my time.
His time moves silently, but the roar of his accomplishments is thunderous.
The things I have done from the time I pick up the club up to now, it's amazing to look back and think about it. More to come.
That's a wrap on this week's edition of Around Columbus, your look at the stories shaping Central Ohio. Thanks for spending time with us. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, you can always get the latest updates on the go with the free 10TV News app.